And good morning, loves. How is everyone doing? I hope that you all are doing okay today. As you come into the room, please hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, but definitely hit the like button. If you would like to support the channel, you can definitely support it via Cash App. Or there is up under this video, there's a heart that says thanks. You can click on that and support the channel. I want my subscribers to know I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate your thoughts and your love and your support and your emails. I want you to know, even when I cannot um, answer all of them, I definitely get them and I definitely appreciate them. I'm on the go all the time, just like I had to. I've been on the go since this morning, but I want you guys to know that I truly do appreciate you guys. And if I don't respond, it's not because I'm overlooking you. It's just because my days kind of run together, and getting on here with you guys is really like a release to me, right? It's like a release when I can get on here and give information and educate and speak about things and speak truth about things, and enlighten you on things. That's a blessing. I have a servant's heart. I always have. So those things that I can get on here and do for you to try to keep you informed and to keep your hopes and stuff up. I definitely do that, of course. But today I wanted to talk about underestimating danger and domestic violence tragedies. Now, I think I had spoke about before, we had gotten into this Dolph situation, and of course, we still keep that spirit of Dolph around, the spirit of excellence. But as I said before, there's right now there are no updates in this Dolph situation, and officers, in this Dolph situation, it's gonna be going on for a minute, right? So, as updates come, we're gonna talk about it. Okay, we are definitely gonna talk about it. And as I was saying last night, there are other people that need us too. There are other things that I do also, um, such as I don't know if I spoke about in the past that I did volunteer work with the WYCA, and that was to help battered women. I have a friend in the Memphis area that owns a shelter that's going to come on and speak about her story also. And I was talking to her when I was on the run this morning. I was talking to her. She was like, "I do our girls' day." I was like, "I've been working like back to back to back to back." I was like, "But you know what? I would love for you to come on to my show to speak about your shelter and what you do and how she helped the women. How a lot of women have to go underground to get away from abusive men. Those are women. The women in her shelter." Um, Thank God they didn't underestimate the dangers of a violent man that can't control himself. Um, what she does in her shelter is one of the ones that I really admire, because not only do she house them, she don't just house them for 30 days like most shelters. She housed them, she helps them to get their education. She put them in programs, and when they leave with a job and an apartment and most times a car. So she helped them to get on their feet, and they have to complete a program. So they're 6 to 8 months, get some type of training, and they have a job. So that's a beautiful thing. I love what she do with her program. I've had her on my TV show many times. There have been many women to come in from other states that she has helped. I think oftentimes people underestimate the danger of a violent person. Oftentimes, I mean, there are situations where there are violent women. We're starting to see more and more women become violent, but it's not nearly as much as men, right? And so I always tell women, because I've worked in a shelter and I know oftentimes women have Stockholm syndrome. So what they'll do is they'll go back to their abuser. And I've always taken abuse, especially verbal abuse, when a person can't control themselves and they're very um, um, enraged as it becomes to women because they cannot control them. That's a person that has to be watched. And oftentimes, unfortunately, women don't really realize that until it's too late. I'm just one of those people that's very, very precautious, because I've done volunteer work with women that were battered. And thank God, a lot of them escape with their lives. But oftentimes, we talk about physical abuse, but there's more than physical abuse. There's emotional abuse, there's verbal abuse, there's financial abuse. And financial abuse is when you don't allow your wife to work, you don't give them any money. What can they do if they don't have any money? I ain't talking about these Negroes. Get a damn job. These men that's capable of working, nigga, go work. Okay, not you. I'm talking about when my wife won't give me no money and you sitting up. That's some form of abuse too. When you are able-bodied person and you won't go work, not you. Because I know it's a lot of twisted people. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about financial abuse with what happens to a lot of these women when their husbands won't allow them to work because they want to control everything. Some of these women don't even know how to pay bills. Okay. But what I want to do is show you all a few stories because we're going to talk more about this. We're going to get Wanda on. I was talking to Captain Cobb today. He had worked with me over at the sheriff's office. I was actually trying to get the sheriff on, Floyd Bonner, to come on. I know Captain Cobb had worked with that directly. He had worked with women in domestic violence situations and sexual assault. I kind of wanted to get the sheriff on to talk about some stuff that he had implemented. I know I was able to get him on earlier, the interview that we had did earlier this year. But I know that they're in their crunch time, just like because I really wanted to get him and the district attorney on at the same time to speak about violence and abuse and harassments and things of that nature. But what I want to do is show some of, hold on. Let's see. Here's one right here. Viewer discretion is advised.
People could be your.
Hold on.
Came too late. Children scarred for life. Tarika Jones, Jaleesa Harris, and Kevin Reynolds left here in the most violent of ways. Their families and communities are still suffering. These people could be your family or friends. Prince George's County, where nearly 1 million people live, leads the state of Maryland in these kinds of tragedies. You're about to meet a mom who found out in the most painful way possible that it is not someone else's problem. I met with LaShawn Harris back in the spring, and we were going to sit down and talk about her daughter. It was pretty tough, and at that time, an interview was not part of the equation. Until about 2 months later, when she reached back to me, it was right around the time of her daughter Jaleesa's birthday.
Breaking overnight in Prince George's County.
You can see several patrol cars at these apartment complexes.
Trying to get some information on the people involved here.
I just looked at the TV and I said, God, just don't let that be my baby.
Everyone listened when 22-year-old Jaleesa Walls Harris lifted her voice to sing. She unleashed her range in church, in contests, and in verse. She wanted to be a star and use her talents to help others, particularly her half-sister Tarika Jones. Jaleesa's mom can't seem to shake one of her last conversations with her daughter Jaleesa and Tarika. There was a problem, and Jaleesa's mom was trying to help.
No woman deserves to be hit on. I don't care what. I said, you should never let yourself be beat up. Never. So Jaleesa said, see, I told you, Tarika, my mother wouldn't be going for that. And I was like, is it you? And she's like, no. And she was just quiet.
What do you wish you had said to Tarika in that moment?
I would have just hugged her. And I keep looking at the chair because that's where she was sitting. And I would have kissed her and told her that I love you. You don't deserve this.
You see, Jaleesa's mom had no idea that Tarika, her daughter's half-sister, was in trouble. 26-year-old Tarika Jones was a devoted mother of 3 young girls. By all accounts, she loved cooking meals and telling the world about her sweet babies on social media. A place that did not showcase this man, 30-year-old Kevin Reynolds, the father of her youngest daughter and former boyfriend.
From my understanding, they just had a strange relationship, an on and off relationship.
And according to police documents, it was volatile at times. Tarika told Kevin she wanted to move on. Police think that sent Kevin into a jealous rage. Let me take you back to a night in February. Tarika called police for help 2 times that night. Kevin was supposed to drop their daughter off, but that handoff quickly turned violent. Here's what Tarika wrote in her witness statement to police. At like 6 p.m., Kevin's supposed to drop our daughter off to me, and when he got here, I went on the opposite side of the car to get my daughter. He rushed at me and grabbed me and threw me to the ground. He continued to pick me up and toss me. After I finally could get to my feet, I ran to my neighbor's house, and he took my phone and threw it because I said I was calling the police. More than an hour later, this happened, and we want to warn you, what you're about to hear is graphic, and some of the language is raw.
This is from Georgia County 911.
Okay, so what you all are about to witness is a her calling 911, of course, and a man that is enraged because he can't control a woman. Hold on.
What's the address of your location? Ma'am. Ma'am.
5527. I'm trying to pull out a gun or somebody.
This is a house or apartment? Ma'am.
It's an apartment. It's an apartment.
Everything is chaos out here in this parking lot. Tarika is here, Kevin is here, Kevin's mother is here, even the father of Tarika's other 2 daughters is here. And remember that police statement? Well, Tarika speculates this is why things got out of hand. She wrote, "He must have thought that I called my other baby father, so he went to a truck and got a gun. As I seen him running towards me, I run towards my car to call the police. His mother came in the car to grab my phone saying, 'That's her son, don't call the police.'"
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And you heard her say that his mother grabbed the phone because even though her son is enraged and out of control, you have people that like to uphold, even that's her son. And that's why he is a fool, upholding bad behavior.
That you Tarika refers to is Kevin's mother. Kevin is arrested and charged with assaulting Tarika, but she's at a crossroads. She has 3 small girls to raise, and the man who helps her do that is in jail.
Kevin Reynolds, 2E570698.
3 weeks later, Tarika and Kevin are together again for a bond hearing. You're going to hear the actual audio of the courtroom proceedings. It didn't take long. Listen to how Judge Joseph Wright wrestles with and ultimately makes a decision that would change lives forever.
Mr. Reynolds is currently being held in no bond. We're asking that you set a bond, Your Honor, to a $5,000 bond with the 10% option and pretrial release.
I have had occasion to speak to Ms. Jones. She indicates that she is not in fear of him and that she in fact wants him home.
The facts read as a fairly violent episode. And then if I look at his...
And that's what she wanted him home, underestimating the danger of a person that is enraged, that is full of rage.
Record, destruction, conviction for assault, which is what this case is actually charged as, first-degree assault. Another conviction for assault, a weapons conviction as well. He believes he got off on probation 2 days ago.
Ms. Jones disputes some of the allegations in the statement of charges, Your Honor. I believe that a $5,000 bond is appropriate in this matter.
I disagree. For all the reasons I said, for public safety, for the record, for the way the facts read, I'll set a bond. It'll be $20,000.
So that's it. Kevin is out of jail. And Tarika, a young mother of 3, had no idea what had been set in motion. So that brings us back to Jaleesa. She and her half-sister Tarika would sometimes go weeks or months without seeing each other. But Tarika reached out to Jaleesa after that parking lot incident with Kevin.
Jaleesa came downstairs one day, all excited, and said, Mom, guess what? Guess who hit me up on Facebook? And I was like, who? And she said, it was Tarika. She said she misses me. And I miss her too, Mom. I was like, okay.
The sisters were supposed to hang out on a Monday night, just 5 days after Kevin got out of jail. Jaleesa's mom was concerned about Tarika's influence on her daughter.
And I just said, just be careful. Just be careful. Guard your heart.
And I just came home and heard gunshots.
The ladies there that live in the apartment, they're on the ground. Blood stains all over the place.
It was the shots I heard that woke me up. Bam, bam, bam.
Just after 10 p.m. on March 7th, police say Kevin knocked on the door of Tarika's Chevrolet apartment. He had a gun. He walked in and fired the shots, hitting Tarika and Jaleesa. They died under a kitchen table on the floor. Then Kevin fled, leaving Tarika's 3 girls, one of them his own daughter, in the next room. It could have been worse. Tarika's grandmother lived there too.
She wasn't prepared for what she was getting ready to see.
No, not at all. She was coming back, from my understanding, from work, and this is what she came home to.
And she was saying, Reed, what have you done to yourself? And Reed was underneath the table, the other girls were on the other side of the table, and they're both slumped in a knot.
The next day, Kevin's body was found 100 miles away in Hanover County, Virginia, slumped in his getaway car.
He should have did that first. Went and killed his own self.
Shoes off, with a gunshot to the head. In just a matter of hours, 3 people are dead. Tarika, Kevin, and Jaleesa, who was caught in the middle.
I raised my kids to steer clear of that, but that in itself wasn't enough.
The Domestic Violence Fatality Review Team in Prince George's County points out all the signs that appear to be on the horizon between Tarika and Kevin. You've got this relationship with escalating tension and violence that Tarika was trying to end, lengthy contact with the justice system, family members who witnessed and knew about the abuse, and that recanted statement from the incident in February. Tarika needed Kevin to help pay the bills.
And we do our level best every day to keep people safe. This is what we are here to do. And in a case like this one where we fail to do that, it is our worst nightmare.
Okay, so I kind of wanted to talk about that. As I was talking about physical abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, and financial abuse. And I think I touched on financial abuse. When I was working at the YWCA, and even at Wanda's home shelter, a lot of women could not leave, especially if they have children and the husband or the boyfriend is the primary provider. Okay, so when you go to some of these shelters, mostly all of them, if you're talking about a women's home, if you have a son and he's at a certain age, I believe if he's about 5 years old, the boy if he's a boy, they won't allow him to stay at the shelter. He has to be separated from his mother, and no mother that loves her children is going to separate from their children, right? So oftentimes the mother is just forced to stay there and take the abuse for the stability of her children, especially if he wouldn't allow her to work. That is a strategy of a narcissist and an abuser. And it's not uncommon for the woman to consistently go back to the man. That's what I was talking about, Stockholm syndrome. They have Stockholm syndrome, which means they are beholden to their abuser. Okay. So oftentimes you hear me, talk about control. Now, I wasn't in an abusive relationship. Okay. I wasn't. But I have issues with people trying to control me because I've seen people, not my mom, my dad never did it to my mom, but I've seen it where people try and control folks, especially when they're out of, control. My grandmother, with her first husband, which was not my mom's husband, that she married when my mother was 6 years old, was in an abusive relationship. Okay. To the point that man shot her. Okay. But she lived. Okay. But her second husband, the man I know is my grandfather that I loved with all of my heart, that she got with before the year that I was born, that I knew my whole life, was a gentleman, a good man, a tall, masculine man that did not play, but he never said a whole lot. He just stood on business. He was just a good man, never any verbal abuse, never any physical abuse. He was just a good man. God made an awesome man. I grew up around good men. Okay. that were masculine, that stood on business, that was providers. And so I understand, um, because I didn't see that. My mom witnessed, that first situation. My grandmother was married to him for, I believe, about 2 or 3 years. She witnessed that. She never forgot it. Um, but it made my mother a strong person. My mother never, would never even tolerate abuse. She was very protective of her children, of course, but we had my dad. And I think that's why I have issues with control. I don't let people control me. Okay, especially when I see a man that is that could possibly be abusive, that is out of control, that has mental issues. There are always signs. And unfortunately, some women feel like when a man is kind of controlling in the beginning, they think that it's kind of cute because a lot of people want to feel love. They don't realize that this person may have some mental issues. I am very watchful of people. I know when a person is sick and mentally ill and out of control, that rage always comes up. And so that's why I always tell women, when you see another woman, a man being abusive in any form to any woman, you know, um, it's not okay. It is not okay. Um, Let me pull up another video. I don't know if it actually, I don't think that it did download. I thought that it did, but I definitely want to show it. Let me see. Um, I don't think that it did, you guys. Hold on
Disturbing
one
detail.
second. Even if it didn't, it don't matter. We can get it right here because I'm very serious about this. I don't think a lot of women understand the danger of an abusive man. Okay, especially if they can put their hands on a woman, okay, when they're enraged, because most men, especially masculine men, I've seen, I got cousins that are real street dudes, hard to the core, okay, and I'm sure they out there in the street doing things that they shouldn't do, but I never saw them hit a woman. Okay, they did their cheating and stuff, but I see them look straight at the TV when their girlfriends would be mad and screaming and fussing because they was upset. They look straight at the TV because they was guilty, or they get up and walk on out. And these are hardcore thugs. Never did I hear them arguing with them. Never did I hear them. Um, Never did I see them hit them. My auntie didn't raise them like that. They didn't play that. Now they would fight me, and that they would, the street dudes. But they dared not put their hands on a woman. Okay, and I see a lot of older street dudes like that now. They don't argue and fuss with women, not real street dudes, and they dare not put their hands on one. Because I'm gonna tell you something: when there is a history of abuse, and a person is enraged, sooner or later they will kill you. And I don't think that people take that seriously, especially women when they are in relationships with these men. You never know. Okay, now I see what's going on. You never know. Hold on, you guys. How mentally sick a person is. And there are a lot of mentally sick people, okay? I'm trying to get this video. It is taking a minute, okay? So I might not be able to show it, but that's what I want to bring awareness to, you guys. Uh, uh Things like this. And there are so many women, as I say, they lose their lives every single day, okay? Because they felt like, hold on, they felt like the person loved them. They felt like the person would never do anything to them. And it's vice versa. You see now that the rate is going up, as where women are getting losing their mind and killing the men. They cannot accept that a man wants to move on, that a man um, may want to just go on with his life. That's not being able to accept rejection is a dangerous thing, and that's what's going on, unfortunately, there are a lot of people that cannot accept rejection. And so that's why you see more and more women, even though they have children, they putting themselves in the midst of stuff. They doing any and everything. And then when they realize that it didn't work, they're taking the man out. I gave him everything. I did anything he asked me to do. You have so many people that have low self-esteem, especially some women. They are willing to do anything for anybody just to be with that person or to be loved. You see what I mean? And so when you have someone that is controlling, because I've had cousins and stuff that have had boyfriends that was controlling. And although I am the quieter one, was never wild, their boyfriends instantly saw my strength. They saw me as a problem because as they would say, oh, she's a silent assassin because I handled everything quietly, okay? And so, but they would see my strength. And so they didn't want my cousins hanging out with me, even though we had other cousins that was just buck wild. They didn't have any issues with that. But somebody with a quiet strength that handles business and is not going to stand for things of that nature. Although I wasn't in their business or anything like that, they had an issue with them being around me. I just want to show one more video because I'm very serious about stuff like this, because I want women to be on the lookout for these dangerous, enraged men.
Disturbing details and what police call a domestic violence-related homicide on Jacksonville's west side. The man accused in the murder of a young woman who was found shot to death in a West Side park faced a judge this morning. 22-year-old DeAndre Lewis was denied bond. Family members have identified the woman killed as 21-year-old Talia Williams. News4Jax reporter Vic Michelucci joins us live from Normandy Park where it happened. And Vic, Williams' family members tell you she was trying to leave an abusive relationship.
Yes, I spoke with her uncle, and unfortunately, he says he did not know about the alleged abuse until after she was killed. She was driving to work yesterday. Her car broke down, and somehow the family believes Lewis found her. They had an argument there. He followed her, and then he shot and killed her.
The first thing that comes to your mind is that you feel like it's a dream, like it can't be real.
A true nightmare for the family of 21-year-old Talia Williams. A day after her murder, we are learning more about her accused killer, her boyfriend.
She was trying to make him a better person, trying to make him into a man, but...
Uncle Timothy Williams tells us his niece hid the abuse at the hands of 22-year-old DeAndre Lewis until it was too late. Jacksonville police believe there was a fight. She got away, but Lewis came after her and shot her in Normandy Park. Officers tracked him down quickly and arrested him. This police report shows he spoke with detectives, but what he said is blacked out. It's confidential for now. Evidence in the upcoming murder case. Records show he was a convicted felon who served time for an attempted robbery in 2018. Also later charged with car theft and armed possession of marijuana. He was out on bond awaiting trial on those crimes, and Williams was a witness.
Mr. Lewis, come on up.
Today, Lewis faced the judge for second-degree murder, the court holding him in jail without bond. This is the latest in a series of local domestic violence homicides. On September 29th, 22-year-old Ebony Nicholas was shot and killed at Amazon. Police say her boyfriend, 22-year-old Deshaun Biffle, shot himself but lived. On October 13th, deputies say 35-year-old Brandy Brooker Perkins was stabbed to death by her estranged husband, Derek Perkins. This happening outside a friend's house in Hastings. November 13th, we saw 54-year-old Terrian McQueen shot and killed while sitting in her SUV outside a friend's house in Oakleaf. Her estranged husband, Cleon McQueen, later turned himself in at JSO. And on November 14th, 33-year-old Tiara McDaniel was shot and killed at her new home in Oakleaf. Her ex-boyfriend, Brady, was killed in a shootout with police in Maryland 3 days later. And Williams's loved ones say they hope this tragedy inspires others to get help if they are going through an abusive relationship or if they know someone who is being abused. There is a free national hotline. You can call it 24/7. The number is 1-800-799-SAFE. We also have county-by-county resources in this story on our homepage on News4Jax.
Okay, you guys, I wanted to show that one, and that was the last one. And y'all, I am very I am very serious about this. There are women losing their lives every day to enraged men simply because they dare not be controlled. They're trying to get out of. They're tired of being controlled. They're ready to get out of a relationship, a controlling relationship, and they're tired of being abused in any way, whether it's physical, verbal, emotional, or financial. Okay. And so y'all heard those numbers, and I wanted y'all to see that, it is not okay. It is not okay. For me, in the past, if I heard a man, if I was talking to a guy and he had children, and I heard him speak illy of his children's mother, I don't care how tumultuous the relationship was, um, other than well, if he got enraged and started calling out her name or something like that, I would go up. That's my cue. Because if he'll speak illy of her, he'll speak illy of me. That's a nigga that can't control himself. Okay, there's some abuse there. That's a narcissist. Because either way, or how you feel about it, you might say she's crazy and some more stuff, but that person still has his children, and vice versa. I never spoke illy of my kids' fathers to my kids. There was no abuse involved, but I'd cuss them out in private, but I never spoke illy of them to my children because that was their fathers. Okay, that was still their fathers, regardless of what happened between us. It was still their fathers, and so I think a lot of people, um, it's unfortunate because I think a lot of people are caught up in um, they've been caught up in toxicity for so long, they don't even know what abuse is. Some people are so damaged that they love it when another woman is going through something because it's something that they've gone through. I've heard women say, well, I went through it, why not her? No, you weren't supposed to go through it either. You weren't supposed to go through it either. And I'm not going to stand back and be happy when another woman is going through it. It is not okay, especially when a man is enraged and abusive. Okay. And so I just wanted to talk about that. And I'm gonna get more people on. Like I said, the missing persons cases, the cold cases, and we still keep that spirit of Dolph around, right? I always say that we still will. We always will. But there are other things that I want to educate you all on. I'm working on getting some heavy people on here so that you all will know what to do when you've been violated, because unfortunately so many people are violated. They feel like it's nothing that they can do, that they're supposed to just suffer in silence, or I don't know what to do. I can't tell you how many times people have called me saying, well, my phone has been hacked, this has been hacked. And so I'm looking at getting somebody on here that works with cyber crimes over at the FBI so that you all will know what to do. These are the things, this is what my channel is about. I want to be able to provide help when there's identity theft, and when you've been violated, um, knowing that you'll be safe if you know of somebody that's plotting a murder or something like that. Okay, to save somebody's life. That's what this is about. Okay. But all right, y'all, I'm gonna get on off of here because I can go on and on about that because I'm very passionate about that. But please like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you have not, subscribe to the channel, please do share the video and please hit the like button. Thank you all. I love you guys. Talk to you later.